The good news is version 5 of Suno is out. The bad news, or the news that can make you nervous, is Spotify came out with an announcement on the 25th of September. Spotify strengthens AI protections for artists, songwriters, and producers. What exactly does this mean for you as an AI creator? Let me make it very clear that Spotify is not going after every single person who uses AI. Instead, if you read the entire document, and I'll put a link below, Spotify is rolling out a three-pronged strategy to safeguard artists and producers in the era of generative AI. And these three prongs are: number one, impersonation protections. There are clearer rules, stronger reinforcement to ensure that the AI voice clones do not penetrate the Spotify system, to ensure that unauthorized vocal mimicry is nipped in the bud. Fraudulent uploads to other artists' profiles are going to face stricter defenses because people are doing all sorts of crazy stuff with other people's voices and deceiving the system. So there's going to be new prevention systems tested alongside distributors. The goal is to protect artists' identity and control over how their likeness is used. It could be quite frustrating when you just see appearing on your Spotify page new material. They are very deceptive in using the vulnerabilities of Spotify to push their own illegal maneuvers, and part of that illegal maneuvering is getting as much money as they can through these illegal means of voice cloning, making it sound like Drake, making it sound like Taylor when it has absolutely nothing to do with them. There's also spam filtering at scale. There's going to be a new AI powered filter, so using AI to tackle problems like mass uploads, duplicate content, or SEO gaming, and artificially short tracks. There's already a removal of 75 million spammy tracks by Spotify, so we can tell that they're not playing. Their goal with spam filtering at scale is to stop manipulative slop before it reaches recommendations, and a lot of artists are commending their actions, right? The third and the final thing that they're after here is AI disclosures and transparency. So the industry standard credits will now use AI disclosures to reflect the fact that AI in music is a spectrum, not a binary. There is absolutely nothing wrong in using artificial intelligence to generate stems or even entire tracks. But what Spotify is against is more of the deceptive practices. So there's nothing to be alarmed about. You're not doing anything wrong if you're not trying to game the system. You're not being spammy. You're not being scammy. Spotify's framing is all about creative decisions. Whether you are AI, or whether the artists who are very well known decide to use AI, it's up to them. But we don't want deceptive practices of impersonating people and pretending to not have used AI when it is AI. So listeners are going to get more transparency about music they hear. If they don't want to hear anything AI driven, they will be able to have that option by filtering out stuff that they don't want to hear that's AI branded. The main problem that Spotify is tackling is not stamping out AI music. Let me make that clear, because I know some of you are nervous and you're thinking, oh, Spotify is after anything creative. No, that's not it. Spotify is after the deceit and people who are trying to game the system. Very important that you remember that they're not after you. So don't get all jittery, don't get all scared. They're going to go after the bad guys. So for artists, stronger safeguards means their identity, their income, less vulnerable to fraud. For listeners, better trust in what is streamed and what they select. And for the industry, it's a signal that major platforms are willing to set norms around AI transparency. Spotify's stance is that the company positions itself as both pro-innovation and pro-artist, acknowledging AI's creative potential, but at the same time blocking harmful uses. So in short, Spotify is attempting to strike a balance, harnessing AI's creative upsides while policing its abuses. Spotify strengthens AI protections for artists, songwriters, and producers. Let's zoom into the text. It says, music has always been shaped by technology, from multi-track tape and synthesizers to digital audio workstations and autotune. Every generation of artists and producers have used new tools to push sound and storytelling forward. However, the pace of recent advances in generative AI technology has felt quick and at times unsettling, especially for creatives. At its best, AI is unlocking incredible new ways for artists to create music and for listeners to discover it. At its worst, AI can be used by bad actors and content farms to confuse or deceive listeners, push slop into the ecosystem, and interfere with authentic artists working to build their careers. That kind of harmful AI content degrades the user experience for listeners and often attempts to divert royalties for bad actors. And here we have a smattering of real human artists that have contributed their viewpoints. Mike Karen, it's crucial for artists to know that their partners are contributing to the protection of their identity and repertoire. And you can take a look at several others here. Even Rodney Jerkins is here as well, putting his 2 cents in. Real creativity deserves real protection. And it says, drawing the line, protecting voices, credits, and royalties so the community that creates can keep thriving. So the summary of what Spotify has done is they've yanked off 75 million songs. I don't know if yours was one of the songs that was yanked off. Why don't you let me know? I'm hoping yours wasn't one of those. But it says here, this journey isn't new to us. We've invested massively in fighting spam over the past decade. In fact, in the past 12 months alone, a period marked by the explosion of generative AI tools, we've removed over 75 million spammy tracks from Spotify. AI technology is evolving fast and will continue to roll out new policies frequently. Here's where we're focusing our policy work today. Improved enforcement of impersonation violations. They're really big on that for people who are trying to upload impersonation of artists. A new spam filtering system. AI disclosures for music with industry standard credits. Strong impersonation rules. The issue, we've always had a policy against deceptive content, but AI tools have made generating vocal deepfakes of your favorite artists easier. So we know all about that. The music spam filter. Total music payouts on Spotify have grown from 1 billion in 2014 to 10 billion. Wow, that's a big bucket of money. But we know who's getting that money. It ain't the little guy. It ain't the little guy like me. I don't know who else is getting a big paycheck, but honestly, despite the volume of music that I have out there, I don't have the same number of ears that some of the big dogs do. So honestly, am I concerned about getting a bit of the bag? Not one bit, but I can understand why other people would be concerned if they are getting a significant amount of change from Spotify. 1 billion is a lot, but when you take a look at the enormity of music in the world, it actually is not a humongous amount for many people. AI disclosures for music with industry standard credits. I think this is good. Many listeners want more information about what they're listening to and the role of AI technology in the music they stream, such and such. And honestly, I think we're going to get to the point where we begin moving beyond the care of, okay, did AI create it? Was it there human in the loop? I think there's just going to be a marker that says AI and people use that as filtering. But I don't think that's going to stop the rise of AI music. Remember, the United States is one country, and though Spotify is international, I feel a lot of countries will just have that naturally occur because a lot of the music in other countries is generally indigenous music, and they may not necessarily care for a lot of the Western music. So I think the chips are going to fall where they will. Things are going to sort themselves out in other countries. But for the Western world, since Spotify has a huge footprint, I guess Spotify's got to do something about it. And actually, it's a good thing that Spotify is doing something about it because the impersonations and the stealing, of identities is alive and well. And that definitely needs to be curtailed. So don't get all freaked out. Yes, the good news is we have version 5. The news that could get you nervous if you're a bad guy is the news I just shared. But if you're a good guy and a good girl and you're not looking to spam or scam anyone, all you need to do is be aware of this and know that it's going to work out best for the community. Thank you very much, my friends. Have fun creating in that tool. Happy creating.